This is Duke University.
Hello, my name is Gilbert Merkx. I am the Director of International and Area Studies programs at Duke University, and I'm delighted to be able to make a few comments to you about the importance of international education in our states. My own background is one in which I have worked at several universities, both public and private, in different parts of the country, and I've had quite a bit of liaison with schools in different states as part of that overall effort. We know in higher education that our students are well aware that they are living and going to work in a globalized world, and they are very conscious of their need to have international competence in its various forms. So we find foreign language enrollments are increasing in our universities. More and more students want to study abroad, and they know that even if they stay in the US, they'll be working for companies that compete globally, but many of their careers will actually be global careers where they move from country to country. What we realize in higher education is that what we can offer these students really depends upon their ability to take advantage of what we try to give them, and that in turn depends upon their K-12 education. We know from many studies that the key to foreign language, international competence is the ability to speak a foreign language, to communicate with people in their language. One of the reasons that foreigners have done so well in the U.S. economy is they've learned English, and they come here and sell their products and deal with us in our language. To compete, we have to deal with them in their language. We also know that the most important element in learning a language is to start early. That language instruction in grade school pays huge dividends, and it doesn't really matter what the language is. If small children learn to speak in a second language, they think outside the box, so to speak, and learning a second language makes it easy to learn a third or a fourth language, much easier. So it's very important that what happens in the schools in our states around the country really promote international competence in our future citizens by not only offering students, K-12 students, information about the rest of the world, but also access to foreign language instruction. And I think that's a tremendous challenge. The No Child Left Behind legislation at the federal level actually led to a decline in foreign language enrollments in K-12 in schools around the country because of the focus on the 3 Rs. But international competence is just as important as a competence in the 3 Rs, and our school systems have to do that. So I urge the state legislatures of the country to really focus on internationalizing the K-12 curriculum, on keeping an eye on the offerings of foreign languages, and then also to learn from each other about the best practices that are found in different states with respect to promoting foreign language study and other ways of internationalizing the K-12 curriculum.
Hello, my name is Darla Deardorff, and I'm Executive Director of the Association of International Education Administrators, which is a national professional organization based at Duke University. Thank you so much for your invitation to share some comments with you about the importance of internationalizing higher education in the United States. And it starts at the state level. It really is it's a crucial point at which to begin. And following up on what Gil just shared with you, I also want to emphasize how crucial it is that students develop intercultural competence at all levels of education, from K-12 through to the higher education levels. And knowledge alone is not sufficient in developing intercultural competence. As Gil mentioned, language is very important in intercultural competence, and helping students develop those skills and abilities to interact successfully with those from a wide variety of backgrounds, and not just necessarily those in other countries, but right here in our own communities with immigrant populations, and also with those from different socioeconomic, religious backgrounds, and so on. Education needs to be addressing this. But it's not enough to say, let's look at what our students are learning. We need to look at teacher education. And so I want to emphasize with you today the importance of addressing teacher education. And this is a place where I see that the U.S. is really in need of great improvement. And again, it gets back to the state level and at what's happening at universities within our states. How can we better educate and train our teachers to be successful in teaching diverse student populations at all different levels of education in the U.S.? And so I would encourage you to discuss this further and look at ways in which states can really work at enhancing and improving the quality of teacher education as it becomes crucial then to develop interculturally competent students. In addition to looking at teacher education, I would also stress the importance of funding. Obviously, as you know, we're seeing a decrease in the support for public education nationwide in all of the states. And it's really important that priority be given to understanding the importance of internationalizing the curriculum and the quality of education, both at the K-12 level, as Gil mentioned, as well as at the post-secondary level. So that does remain a big issue for those of us who are involved in education, particularly in international education. I would encourage you to feel free to dialogue with us further. We would love to hear from you and to utilize resources such as the Association of International Education Administrators. Our members are the leaders in the international higher education field around the U.S. and beyond. And we're here for you. We're happy to be a resource for you and to dialogue and discuss with you ways you can continue to increase the internationalization efforts within your state universities and within public education at your state level. Thank you very much, and we'd love to hear from you. All the best in your work.
Produced by Duke University, online at duke.edu.